Ia, whātara sa mole nei tū lao le fiafi o to ona fo nei ono ti laiva tu nei sini au si tā lia. Ia, o lea ua mawhatasia i ma le tātou special guest in nea fiafi se tasi fo i alo le tātou atunuu. Ia, le susunga ia Rodney. Ia po Esekia, Rodney Iona, whai ona lausi le fia e le tātou atunuu. Ia, o le a mawhatatanoina ia le usu nea fiafi. But before we start, Rodney, yeah, I'll start with a prayer also, and then we'll start our talk. Yeah, well, you know, we all about the man up there. How you got your talent as well. Yeah, la mata tatanong as it tal. Yon a mata lola ilea. After ilea to lo from no one late wa mafuta mleuso. Yeah, Ron Iona. Il proclam near fiafi. Please give us the wisdom, especially the questions that's going to help our viewers, not only for rugby players in any four corners of the world, and especially the younger generation of our Pacific Islands with our conversation tonight. Please be with us. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen. Yeah, Rodney, so our talk tonight, we're just going to mix it. I know, you know, we both Samoans, but for viewers, they don't understand some of our languages. Well, for our viewers tonight, for some of you who don't know Rodney, he is currently a Manu Samoa rugby player for representing our country, and he is now playing in Sydney, Australia, in the Shoot Shield competition for 2 Blues. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, where you from in Samoa, whether you are a full Samoan or a Fakasi. Please, over to you, Rodney.
Lava ia ono, ia olo ingoa Rodney Iona, po eskia Rodney Iona, ia hoke sau mai le villages iwa vai a whai, ia ma pata whala tai, kua. E whakarofa aku fui ngisi o mako a ingare o i Barcelona, Spain, I Afakasi.
Afakasi kamaro. Okay, Rodney, just letting your family know that it's live on, well, they're probably watching us on YouTube, on Facebook right now, but it's live on YouTube as well. If you want to subscribe to help me continue the program as well. Rodney, we're just going to talk about your journey as a rugby player. We're going to start from, when did you fall in love with the game?
Yeah, so it was back in Melbourne where I was born and raised. It actually started off with me and my brothers playing AFL in Melbourne. So
oh wow!
At that time, rugby union wasn't as big as it was when the Rebels came through. But yeah, it started in Melbourne, and then my uncle Makawai Loa, he introduced me and my brother to a rugby club in Melbourne, Moorabbin Rams, where a lot of players like John Ulungia and Pete Samu, a lot of those players have come through that club. Played my junior rugby there from under 12s right up until under 18s. Yeah, back then ele strong ele lakapi, but there was a state representatives, so we played for Victoria. So I was lucky enough to get picked up by Victoria, and then played my Australian schoolboys through that program, through that pathway, and then played under 18 schoolboys 2009. I was lucky enough to get picked up by the Brumbies in the academy back then, and then through the Brumbies made my debut 2014. Was with them up until 2016. 16, 17. Yeah, Australia. I was lucky enough to get a contract over in France with Béziers, in the south of France. And then it just kind of trickled from there. Went to the Western Force, played a bit of rugby in Spain while I was waiting a contract with the Force. Went over to the championship in the UK. UK. I came back to the Brums for 2020 and 21. Dan McKellar, the coach at the time, gave me an opportunity to come back after winning the Shoot Shield with Gordon 2020. And then I went over to America, New Orleans, for about 2 years. Was in Seattle last year. Signed there for 3 years. But then obviously I've got a little baby now by the name of Lily, and she's been a blessing in our family. So we decided to cut short that rugby stint, or that rugby journey in America, and decided just to obviously play my rugby here in Australia, where I'm currently playing now.
You've been around also.
Oh yeah, you still there? Sorry,
Yeah, I'm still here, man. You've been around. So okay, so when did you get so you went to Brumbies first, and that was before the Rebels are.
Yeah, that's at that time the Rebels were just starting up, but by that time I had already been approached by the Brumbies.
Mm,
So yeah, I played my rugby there in Canberra for a number of years, and that's
mm.
opened up opportunities for me to play all around the world.
Ngayon mo lileo kaling brother.
Uh, yeah, it's been a
Okay,
blessing.
so when did you get the call to represent Samoa, Rodney?
So it was when Dicky was coach in 2018. Yeah, that's where I made my debut. I was a young buck then, and I think it was against Fiji. It was against Fiji. I remember being on the bench for our current coach right now, who is Tusipisi, and
Mm,
yeah, it was an awesome time to be able to represent obviously my family and Samoa. I think although it was a dream for me, but it was a dream for my old man too. So yeah, a lot of hard work. My dad instilled in us boys at a young age, and to be able to represent Samoa was a huge honor.
how did you get a phone call or email or anything for the first time, Ronnie?
Yeah, I think it was through my manager at the time.
Yeah.
Just I think it was at the end. I think it was um, the end of year tour where we went to Samoa and Germany, and I was lucky enough to yeah, get asked to play for Samoa, and I think it was a no-brainer. Like, to be able to represent Samoa was obviously a big goal of mine. So yeah, although Australia, I played a lot of my rugby in Australia and had the chance to. Was born and raised in Australia, but I thought yeah, it, it was a privilege to be able to represent Samoa and represent family.
Yes. That was the question that was gonna come through. Being a say if you were thinking of representing the Wallabies first before Samoa, but you just answered
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So yeah,
So going into your
obviously,
first camp, Rodney, o angi mea lie mangi mea nga FFA, going to that your Manu Samoa camp first, your first ever, walking into the camp. Who were the boys that you were sort of looking up to that you played together at that time?
yeah. I knew a couple of boys. I knew the Lamb brothers, Jack Lamb and Lala Lamb at the time. Before heading
Yeah.
into camp. Who else was there? But then I got to obviously rub shoulders with a lot of the older heads in the middle
Mm.
squad that have been there for a while. Obviously, Tusipisi was the 10 at the time, and wait for it, Leilua, uh, what's his name? Wangalo, yeah, also. But
O
they
whaisi
were,
lewa a.
it was a long time ago. But yeah, guys like Beulah, they uh, they really helped me find my feet within the group. Um, with with a lot of the Pacific teams, it doesn't take much to kind of build culture, and I thought
Mm.
my upbringing it really helped me to be able to kind of just insert myself into the team. Like understanding how to
Mm.
speak Samoan, um, speaking Samoan, uh, being able to speak Samoan so that I could speak to the coaches and the other
Yeah.
players that were there.
O ai se kanga kaula vale ai kongol ko on man sa mor ke mingi.
Kalla.
You know what I mean, Rodney. You can
um,
put someone on the spot. You know what I mean, like, when you go
yeah,
into camp,
yeah,
kamba ho
yeah.
ngai makwa.
There's
There's always
always
that one player,
there's always that one player. What if you ma li
Eh,
le li leo HL Timu but
I
but
said,
but but pair him with Rainuya. He, they just make everyone laugh. They're just
eh,
um, the clowns of the team, and yeah, they bring a lot of good energy into the squad. Obviously, being away from home and being away from our families for a long
yeah.
period of time, it's important that we have that culture, and I think those two bring a lot to the group when we are away.
I I saw some of the clips of your team last year at Kemininga when you guys went for the qualification process or tournament. O vai aku pe o e renga pa whengai mane whaingo paki mane po Ron.
Yeah, mako
Ah,
kurupunga le entertainment crew.
e,
Yeah, and that comes from me, AJ, Moifo, Ray. There's quite a few of us, but like I
e,
said, I think those things are important in a touring team, and it brings a lot
ah,
of energy, good energy
yeah,
to the squad, because it is tough work.
mm,
Yeah, I think you might have spoken to a couple of players that in the past. There's a lot of weight on our shoulders in terms of trying to do well for the country, and sometimes
yeah,
the enjoyment gets lost in a lot of those a lot of the trainings and
mm,
the serious times are. So
e.
yeah, I like to get up and try to bring the energy to the squad, and that's through our entertainment crew. So shout out to the entertainment crew. They know who they are.
Okay, Ronnie, I'm sure, you mentioned mom and dad. I'm sure they put in a lot of input in your journey also. Can you tell us about dad and mom and, of what they did to you in Melbourne from Mulus?
Yeah. So even before rugby, Dad was he was big on training us boys. I think it was more of a
Uh,
discipline thing. So and these are the stories that my friends always tell. A lot of the people, a lot of the my other friends, they're like in the morning before school, and I remember these days down at Rockta Reserve. Um, the sun hasn't come up yet, and Dad's already waking us up to get ready to go to the paka and do our conditioning and our skills. So a lot of work Dad um, from a young age he instilled in us as boys, and he'll do this all before he starts work and before we we go to school. And it's funny because a lot of the times when we're training in the morning, kids are walking towards the school, So
Mm.
we're finishing up our training. Dad gets us home to shower, get our maonga ready, and then we're at the door, get to school before the last bell rings. So in terms of my dad being a big influence in my rugby career, he's been massive. Um, e le ngalo ia yaso la sa ka wivilo ka mai e whai maraka pia. So
Mm.
and then obviously with mum, um, you know, with every great husband, there's a strong lady in the background, doing
Mm.
our lunches, always preparing us for games on the weekend, and yeah, just doing what a mother does. So yeah, mum and dad have been a big influence on my rugby at an early age, um, and they instilled a lot of discipline and I always remember my dad always saying, "Whai marwha maongi." Everything I do, ko ringinga,
Mm.
fesoasoangi mea i coaches, pea whai ko ringinga, pack away everything, help the coaches fill up the water bottles. So those are the lessons that Dad um, really instilled into us boys at a young age. So very grateful.
Big shout out to mum and dad also.
Mm,
Malo lava le, le tausia tali'i. Well done. I yo tua. Okay, so your journey. Who can you point out something that a coach said to you that sort of changed your game? Aaron, you know what I mean? Ko ke lea coaches for say something to you, and then someone that will, a coach that would say something, and then you just click, and then keep, brought out the best out of you. Aaron.
I always thought growing up as a 10, I was different from the usual 10. Like I remember at a young age, I'd love to. I started on the wing in rugby league at a young age. I think it was under 10s, and I really loved to step, and I like to be fancy a little bit. But as I got into the professional environment, they tried that in somewhat they try to coach you to play a certain way. But I always remember Dan McKellar, which is the Waratahs coach now, and he was coaching me at the Vikings and then onto uh, onto the Brumby scene. And he always used to say I should always play the way I was, how I made it into to these sides. So um, obviously using my flair at the same time, um, nailing the fundamentals that I needed to, not always being a fancy player, but being clinical
Mm.
in times of rugby. So yeah, I thought that stuck with me for a while, and still does. Obviously, still expressing the way I play, but also
Yeah.
understanding that it's a team sport. So you kind of have to cater to obviously yourself and the team environment. So yeah, I guess basically just expressing how I play as a rugby player.
What do you reckon about now compared to 2018? Rodney, rugby is so different now.
Yeah.
As a 10,
Mm.
what's your take on that one?
Uh, I guess yeah. I guess when I first started, it was one of
Mm.
those things where you had your role as a 10 and that was it. But nowadays, like
Yeah,
when I think of uh, of my role now, it's understanding the whole game, and it's
yeah,
understanding what kind of lineouts the forwards are running, what kind of what parts of the field we should be playing in at the right times, and momentum shifts, and so
mm,
a lot of things come into the game nowadays where a 10 needs to understand his players. He needs
yeah,
to understand the game. He needs to understand the opposition. So there's a lot of work that goes in behind. Like when I was growing up, there wasn't much. technology. There was technology, but we didn't use that as much. We'd obviously just
Mm.
watch the game from previous weeks, or yeah. So obviously nowadays, if I'm preparing for an international game and we're playing, say, Hong Kong,
Yeah.
a lot of work goes in behind the door, behind the scenes, so that that I'm ready, but also that my team is ready. I like to think that like the team is my team, and we're gonna play the way our game drivers are wanting to play. So yeah, I guess
Mm.
the load in terms of what goes on behind the scenes um, has picked up a lot.
Mm. So but technology is helping a lot with your game as well, Rodney. Nowadays, you know, I'm sure 2018 and more, yeah, it was available, but there's no review back then.
Mm,
But
yeah,
now, yeah, you know, as you said, you studied the opposition as well.
yeah.
Okay, so compare now. So you played in France last year or America?
I played in America in Seattle.
Oh yeah. Now,
Mm,
now you're playing in Sydney. Can you tell
yeah.
us what's the difference? Is there any difference, big difference of the rugby in America and the shoot shield competition house?
There's always going to be an element of differences between, I guess, a professional environment and then a semi-professional environment. So, I guess with the professional side of things, wherever you play, there's always a standard there, and obviously players are getting paid full time, and there are things that are a must. And obviously with shoot shield rugby, it's not professional, and there's, I guess, I guess it's a longer process in trying to get a team to where we want to be compared to a
Yeah.
professional environment. I guess recovery is probably important, especially at my age and my time in my career now. I guess having physios and recovery places in place there at the HQ where you can use every day. Where as in, I think within Shoot Shield you have to kind of pay it off your own back. So um,
Mm.
I guess that in that element, there's a difference there. But in terms of the rugby game day, yeah, like I said, professional rugby is always going to be a step above shoot shield. But in saying that, like I wouldn't say there's too much different with the MLR and the shoot shield. It's just that yeah, it's probably a bit faster and physical in a professional environment. But the shoot shield competition is amazing. Like probably one of the best in the southern hemisphere. And you see a lot of players coming from overseas, whether it's from America, from France. We've got a couple of boys that are from New Zealand that are in our squad now. A couple of Manu boys that are playing in the shoot shield. So you got Afa Moleli with the West, the Pirates, and then you got um, Connor Tupai at Eastern Suburbs, along with Henry Stowers. So there's quite a few boys that are playing in the shoot shield at a good level. So yeah.
Did you say did you get in touch with Connor before the game last week?
So if anyone knows Connor Tupai, he's a pest. He's Ula Vale, man. On the field,
I know, eh?
he's a good man off the field. But he's probably one
Yeah.
fella that you don't want to get into a conversation with because he's just relentless with his chat. But nah, I didn't actually, but I have been in talks with. I've been having. I've been chatting with Tupai, and he's a good man. But yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, it's probably one conversation you don't want to go into a game knowing that you've had a conversation with him because yeah, he's really good at his
Do
job.
you listen to to music before the game, Rodney? What's your
Uh,
go-to playlist?
it definitely is Samoan music, um,
Yeah.
or it definitely is Samoan music, or
Yeah.
a bit of reggae. Like a lot of the music that I listen to now is AI music, Samoan music. So it all sounds the same, but no, I don't really, not really. Um, Probably the one that I do play all the time is the Wano, the Siva Samoa
Ah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you are they know, your entertainment group. What's your
Yeah.
typical prep day also? Like your game day. What's your game day? Say for example, you're playing tomorrow at 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your schedule on your game day as a 10?
As a 10 or as a father?
Yeah. As a father also.
uh, Nah, so I try not to focus too much on. So maybe 3 hours before the game, I probably got my prep where I have my meal. I kind of get into the rhythm of things, start focusing, just have a look, last minute look at how they play, obviously in my notes, and then like all the work's been done during the week, so kind of just relax before getting to the game. Try not to think too much about the game. Try to preserve my energy and really enjoy the process from when I get to the game to the whistle. So not really. I guess it's just more what I eat, and then get into a good get into a good mental state.
What's your breakfast?
Um, my wife usually cooks eggs. Pretty simple. I'm a simple guy, mate. Just
Your
eggs,
father
toast.
now,
Yeah. So a lot of the money goes to her, to my daughter.
a
But
lot of a
no,
lot of money
I try
goes
to
to the
keep it
boss,
simple.
huh? Yeah.
Try to keep it simple. They need a good
Ile,
meal.
yeah. In your Manu Samoa environment, Rodney, do you guys have any? Because as you probably seen, I'm the leader of the Blue Army. We call ourselves here, so we're more into our Toa Samoa and Fitu Samoa, and I've interviewed. So the Fitu Samoa, they have a cultural. It's like a cultural advisor. Do you,
Mm.
you know, in Manu Samoa, do you have someone that's you've seen the Toa Samoa? It's Lawaki, Freddie Tuilangi.
Oh yeah.
So he's more into the cultural side.
Mm.
In the Manu Samoa, do you guys have one of those guys out there?
Not really, because I think I'm sorry because I think with the Tua Samoa and the Manu Samoa, the difference is the Manu Samoa have had that culture for a long period of time, and it
Long
gets
time.
passed down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets passed down from players to other players, and then obviously now that I'm in there, I've been a part of the that cultural group for a long time, and then
Yeah.
we kind of get players to come in and join the entertainment crew or the cultural group, so that it's passed down to other players. So with
Mm,
Freddie being Tuilangi being in the tour stuff, I think it's a good thing that he's there because um, it's probably a culture shock to a lot of the boys, especially boys that are born and raised in Australia. So
mm,
I think for the Manu boys, that cultural advisor wouldn't be, I guess, it's not needed in there because we've done it
yeah.
in the past and it's something that's been handed down to other players. But the closest thing to what you're asking is probably Hess, which is our manager. He does a lot of
Okay.
our cultural stuff when it comes to
Ah,
the laongas and stuff like that. We've got guys that can do it too, like Theo and Melani Matavao, Tuna, not so much Tuna
and
because he's
even
not
you
around
have
anymore.
Hesed as well.
Yeah, yeah. So Hezit does a lot of all that stuff
Sure.
for us.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of the cultural stuff is led by our entertainment group and the boys that are around that have been around for a while. So yeah.
Now, you can answer this question. This is not a political question, Rodney, but as you probably seen a lot. about what's going on with our Lakapi Samoa and our Manu Samoa, I'm gonna ask you as a current Manu Samoa player, because I've seen a lot. There's a lot of people saying, you know, overseas Manu Samoa players are now don't want to represent the country. I'm gonna ask you, did you get paid? Because I heard that they refunded all the money there for ngai o go get travel like white. Like there's something going on that you pay your fare to go there to trials, and then if you make the team, they will refund you. Can you be honest with us? Because I hate people negative about the Manu Samoa and the Lakapi Samoa. Rodney, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate the question too.
Yeah,
For a lot of us, for me personally,
yeah,
I haven't had the haven't had sorry, I haven't had the run in with that problem.
yeah,
So a lot of the a lot of the talk is from outside noise. So like I said, none of that's happened to me personally. And if there is anything that happens like that within the squad, there's a leadership group that tackle those kind of problems.
yeah,
We try to, as a Manu group, and Tushi does a really good job of um, erasing all that noise in the background.
mm,
And
yeah.
if there's any problems, the leaders and the management tackle those problems at that time. So personally, I haven't run into anything like that.
Okay, for all the viewers that are negative about Manu Samoa, whoever is saying now, to be honest with you, Rodney, I didn't want to say this before you came onto the program
Mm-hmm.
because, as I'm a hard out supporter of any coach representing 6A5 to the world. O le mea sidi, o leo e tali mai ia. O kiri lo pēr mea ringa pisa so o I kupe.
Yeah,
The players are getting paid. That's the end of it. Rodney. Okay,
correct.
let's go back to to our
But
conversation.
in saying that,
Yeah,
like I said, there's a lot of outside noise, and I
yeah,
think the management, the leadership group, and a lot of the players do a really good job of just eliminating all that white noise. So obviously, tough year last year with the Manu squad. A lot of players not being able to represent Samoa from clubs overseas due to whatever circumstances they had with their clubs.
yeah,
But in terms of the outside noise and whatever, like our group is as tight as it has been ever. So for everyone that does speak on that subject, like it doesn't get mentioned or it doesn't come up in any of the conversations that we have in camp or yeah, and I think that will carry on to future camps and tournaments. So
Okay,
it
while
is
we're
what it
here,
is.
I just want to say personally, malo lava le tautua to nu Rodney. Malo fot fa malo si last year le nga umalo le. So I had an interview with Hesed with sort of while you guys were still there.
Mm.
But I know you guys were very busy preparing for the games, but I wanted to have an interview with you while you guys were there. But on me sili ia le wai lo Samoa. Le ola ai manga ia le alwa man Samoa ia behind the scene. But that
Mm.
noise on me sili, yeah, you already said it. Now come back to Inga the Go Camp. Who's the most annoying player? Wa umale le player le lei. Marfia. Who's the most annoying one?
Ei ka wale le aula ui ka wale le aule lasa. That's a good question because there's always that one annoying player
Yeah,
or players, and I
yeah,
must
yeah.
say that it's the halfbacks are. Ole
Oh,
Allah, fia kamason. Nah, it's probably a halfback. Say Kona
yeah.
Tupoi. He plays for your son's club. You got guys like Joe Lamb, Melani Matawao. These halfbacks always got something to say. Yeah.
They
Nah,
always yes,
yeah, but yeah,
because that's their job on the field as
that's
well.
that's their
Come
job.
on,
Yeah, there's no stop. Oh, but yeah, it would be the halfbacks. Oh.
Okay, Ronnie, what would you say to the younger number 10s growing up with gaming especially our Samoan number 10s, Ronnie, what would you say to them, something that they need to work hard on if we pay go from an international player perspective?
Mm. I think it's probably the same journey that I had. Is everything that you do,
Mm,
not just training, but everything you put in your body um, when it comes to training, and these are things that I learned from my dad. But probably a thing that I learned on the way too is being able to be coachable. There's nothing worse
mm,
than a player that's nowhere roa fia poko winga lea, but like
yeah.
for a player, you need to be able to learn every day. There's a lot of us that if a coach says something or another player, like me, I like to learn from my players that I play with too.
Mm,
So being able to be an open book and just soak everything up. There's things that coaches will teach you and you may not like, but there's going to be a lot of things that you will learn along the way. So be an open book
mm.
and like my dad says, whamaongi I mea ke whaia.
Ole, I've seen you getting involved with some extra work as well. Like, for example, le uso
Fotu
what's his
Auli.
name? Yeah, yes. Can
Mm,
you manga ya foi lea mangolea, we can promote of what
mm.
he's doing behind the scene, especially helping our boys, especially, our Pacific Island boys. Can you touch on that, Rodney?
So obviously Fotu Aulua, he's based out in Campbelltown and he's running a program where it's called CCS, Core Collision Skill. I was fortunate enough
Mm.
to play alongside Fotu back in the Brumbies, and that's where I met him and his beautiful family.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So over the years, I've been able to, before it was CCS, I was able to go back, come here to Sydney and train with Fotu, and then head overseas to my professional contract. And he's instilled a lot of things that I've taken on board and taken over to the professional clubs, and still to this day, I'm still training with him and learning a lot from Fotu. So I guess with Fotu, he's created so a lot of this training he had been doing with a lot of players, young players, at the beginning of the year, and then um, obviously with his son too. And a lot of these trainings, it just made sense to for him to create something like he has now and
Mm.
create a program where um, you're learning the fundamentals of the collision, and that's what he was good at as a rugby player. So a lot of the trainings that he is doing now is preparing players for the collision and close quarter contact, and yeah, I really am grateful for Fotu because he's a lot of the contact stuff that I do in games and at training really applies to my game in on the field. So big shout out to Fotu Aulua, man. He's doing good stuff with the juniors and obviously a lot of the senior boys, a lot of Wallabies. The Broncos reached out to him. Rugby Australia have reached out to him, and a lot of the Super Rugby teams have reached out to him too. So like last week, he went over to the Western Force. He done a couple of clinics there with the Force boys, whether it's the junior boys or the top squad. But yeah, he's making noise in that space.
Big shout out to Fotu Malolava Usole, sharing your knowledge, especially with your experience as well. Now, Rodney, as a father, what's the difference when you weren't a father and now you're a big man now? So what's it?
Yeah,
Talk to us. What's
yeah.
your is it hard? Oh, vai oi ke wa fasi me ur fafinge so.
I think she's watching too. Nah, obviously, having my daughter in this world, man, has been a blessing, and it's something that I've always wanted. A lot of my friends have over the years when I've played in the same team, they've all had kids, and I've always been I've always loved babies and my nephews and nieces. They mean the world to me, and to have my own daughter, it's been a blessing. And obviously, my wife, she does a lot for me and my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously a little bit emotional, but yeah, last year was a big year, obviously for Manu Samoa. But at the time, also, I had to leave camp a little bit earlier to be with my family here in Sydney for the birth of my daughter Lily. And yeah, every day. The difference is now from when I was obviously not a father is there's obviously a purpose in everything that I do now, and the one thing that I do look forward to is coming home to Lily and my wife, my family. So it's been a blessing. A lot has changed, and it's made me a better man, and it's made me grow up even more.
Oh, a good man now. Aaron.
Yeah, a better man.
Better man now. Okay. Shout out to your wife. I'm sure she does a lot
Oh,
while you're at training. You know, especially how old is baby now? Also,
she's only 7.5 months now, so she's doing a lot. She's doing a lot at the
yeah.
moment. So
Are
new
you saying
parents.
that because she's watching, or are you saying that for reals?
Can I see who's on here?
Uma loa fasile. Congratulations also sa Aurelia. So
Yeah.
are they still? Do they get to come to the game, or is it she's too
Yep.
small to bring her to the game?
It depends. Obviously, Sydney right now it's
Yeah,
wet
it's
and
been
miserable.
raining.
But yeah, first couple of games, the first home game that we had against Gordon, she was there, and
Nice.
man, it was awesome to see my family at the games. But you know, God willing, like this career goes on for up until World Cup, and get to see my daughter run onto the field.
It's all to the man up there, my man. Ah,
That's it.
he's already
Yeah,
got plans for you, so.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, so ia lea la ua misi si fesilian kau whai aku a. So what's your plan? What's your long-term plan? I know it's the World Cup next year,
Mm.
but what's your weekly plan, and then go into your what's your long-term plan? Ole
A,
o
a
ngai
lot.
ke mga au ia koe, how old are you now, Ronnie? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm 30, 33, 34, something
Oh
like
wow. So you still look. I thought you're only 25 also.
that. So I love it. Yeah. In terms of plan, I think that's a really good question because I feel like a lot of young athletes, aspiring athletes, don't have this as a thing, which is your weekly goals, and then your bigger goals
Mm,
moving forward. But um, obviously, when baby was born last year, we made the decision to stay here in Australia so that she
yeah.
can grow up around family, and that's when the goal settings start. So
Mm,
I obviously made the decision to play for the Two Blues, understanding that one, my body is going to get looked after. I'm getting the right treatment and so forth.
yeah.
I'm coached by the right coaches so that I'm still learning and elevating my game. Um, and then yeah, and I'm playing the best footy I can, still being outside of a professional environment. So I guess my goal settings week in week out now. So preseason's done. We've started the season. Those goals are done. It's about me applying myself as best as I can to the team that I'm with now,
Yeah.
knowing and understanding that my goals are bigger than what it is right now, and it's to make um, the next campaign for the Manu Samoa. And
Mm.
hopefully, if all goes well, and I'm doing the right things here, everything else will speak for itself. So
Mm.
those are my little goals right now. It's about now, and
Yeah.
how I'm applying myself to the team that I'm with now. How professional I can be with my recovery, how professional I can be with my preparation for the games ahead, leading into the next campaign, if all goes well.
Nā no lava. So when it's your ka koe fo'i mai le ka I wha Samoa, what's your go-to cheat meal? Samoan
Cheat
meal.
meal.
What's your favorite Samoan food also?
Ooh.
It's all right. I'm
Yeah.
sure Sailosi is not watching.
O anga mea. Nah, there's. I actually have. Me and my wife went to support a local business, and they do. It's her name's Auntie Pai.
Oi,
PAE.
sali.
If any,
Ka masasa o al pai nga
ngakei roa. Ricky la la, oi oh. Yeah, that was. We went there one time, and then obviously I want to go back, but looking to the date. Hey, we got a faithful fool for ngale or song of fire. But yeah, Auntie Pies,
You're
Pies.
not 20, you're not 23 anymore also.
Exactly, exactly. I'm not recovering as well as I have been in the past, but shout out to Auntie Pies. I think they're based out in Preston's. If anyone's in Sydney, so yeah,
Mm.
the egg and bacon cheese pie is a go-to. My wife tried the pisupo and spaghetti pie, and it was a hit. That was a good cheat meal.
You know, it's funny you said that. She's one of my sponsors of my program.
Really? Well, there you go.
Yeah,
You're a
Auntie
walking
Pai.
billboard.
Yeah, shout out Auntie Pai. Umaropo Kalamele. I'll come to you tomorrow and get us a feed so I can share with Rodney also. Yeah. Thank you very much, Uso Mole. I know you got a game tomorrow. So what was your ke ro'o le kakarongo e whaaroni? E fōwhoi me o wharongo mo le cup loads. So what did you have for dinner?
So I had chicken and mashed potatoes.
Ia. O
Yeah,
inga kuka,
but
o inga kuka pe ngā kuka e mama.
yeah, loko
Ngā
lua,
kuka,
loko
ngā wai pe pera mai fo i rā kai wharo.
I did all the look right through. Oh. Yeah, yeah, carb load.
Okay, Ronnie, before we finish, if you, say for example, if you talk to the Rodney, I would say you're 33, to the 20-year-old Rodney, what would you say to the 20-year-old Rodney? What would you say to the younger Rodney in terms of your game, your off-field preparation, and preparing for your game hours?
For the game.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times as a young professional rugby player, you're afraid to make mistakes. I thought at a young age, compared to what I do, what I am now, like not afraid to make mistakes now. A lot of the learnings come from making mistakes and being able to grow as a player through those mistakes. I know a lot of the times, especially island kids or young men, are afraid of making mistakes or afraid of speaking up due to the culture boundaries, like asking questions because he's the eldest. The coach is he's my elder. You know what I mean? So being yeah, just not being afraid to make mistakes and speaking out loud with respect.
Okay, Yuso. Perfect. Kai lava. Thank you very much for your time, Ningi. Also. I know you're getting ready to put baby on to sleep. Yeah, mang kua e fo o nga fo ifia maro lord king ani ngi po ye ko fa me la fo o ka longa a.
Yeah.
Okay, Ronnie, I know some of your yeah.
I love it.
I know some of your family is probably watching. I'll give you the opportunity, give them a shout out to your families and friends watching our talk. Yeah, on the Thank you very much, Ronnie, for your time. Kakalangoai for Ulunga platform, and hopefully I'll see you on the sideline when you play East again at two Blues Hours. So over to you, brother.
I love it. Massive shout out to my wife and my daughter. Thank you for always being there for me. I am who I am because of you guys. And another shout out to mum and dad. Obviously spoken tonight about a lot of my journey, and a lot of it has been evolved around you guys putting us first, and your time and effort hasn't gone astray. So thank you so much to my family. We'll see you guys soon. Tai lava ono.
Okay, so yeah, everyone, Ronnie Iona, Manu Samoa number 10, Faafetai for tonight. Thank you also for your time. And manguia pot kalonga kai out,
Tai lava.
But all I'm gonna say to finish, up the business now. Okay, so manmira fia lo fatua. God bless.
God bless.
Tá, tipo,